Hello guys and welcome back to my channel Pratham Diaries. In today's section of Power BI, I'll be showing you how you can create a model documentation using internal functions of Power BI, and that will help you to create a better model representation or understand what your model is. So if you are new to this channel, please don't forget to subscribe. If you are already subscribed to the channel, don't forget to hit the like button and notification bell for new updates, new videos that I'll be doing on Power BI. So recently I was working on a very old report. I wanted to look at certain measures, how the old model was, and then old report. That report was done back in 2019. So I wanted to have a look at that, and it was very tricky for me to understand what were those measures, and to get the list of measures. So, and also we did not have access to the external tools like DAX Studio or model documenter or tabular editor. So I was exploring certain areas. So wherein I found out that there are certain functions within Power BI that you can use using the new DAX query editor. That will help you to get the model information. So I tried it out. It worked, and I'll share some details around that, how I did that. And it's a very short video, so I would say without any delays, let's go back to my laptop and I'll show you how you can do that. So guys, this is my report, and if you look at this, is a very old report from 2019, and this is a very basic report that we had created back then. But what I wanted to do was I wanted to look at data and wanted to look at what the master measures are, and look at each and every master measures and understand what those measures are. So it was a little tricky for me to find out everything. So I wanted to basically write some function in Power BI to get all the list. So here is our DAX query view, and if you guys are aware, DAX query can be enabled within the data source options and settings, and within the preview features. Okay, so first, so there's a function in Power BI to do that, which is called the info function. So let's do one thing. Let's do a evaluate first, and with the evaluate I'll do a info. That's a function name, and with this I'll do a measures. And this, if I do a info measures, and if I run this, I'm able to see all my measures at once. It gives me the measure name, table ID, then what is the expression, what is the measure, exact measure that we have. You can get it this way. So I can copy this, I can paste this into Excel, I get all the list of measures. This is really good. And I can do a new query, and I can do evaluate again. I do a info dot tables, and I run this. I get all the list of info tables. I copy this again, I bring it back to Excel. I get all the list of tables. I'm able to do this. Similar things, I can create another query and do evaluate again, and I give a info dot columns, and I'm able to get the list of columns. So this way you are able to retrieve the list of your table measures columns. But if you look at the DAX Studio and all the advanced tools, there you also get the table names besides the measure name. So which is the base table that it is present in, which table the measures are present, and if there are any calculated columns and so on. So what we can do is we can modify the evaluate and create a new query, which basically helps us do that. Now to do that, again I'll do evaluate. I'll create a variable. I do a variable, and I do a variable which would be underscore measures. Okay, let me just do a measures. And now if I click this, I say I will now do a select columns. Select columns will basically try to select the columns from that. So for that, I will now specify info dot measures in here. Measures, and within the info measures, what now I'll start doing is I'll start pulling those columns in. Now because I have done this earlier, I know this is a table ID, then I have the name, I have the expression, format string. So what I'll do here is I will now create a new column, and not in this but in the query 4 here, and here I would say give me the measure name, measure name, and I can say give me the name of the measure. and I close this. Then I do a table. I do a table here, and I do same. Within the table I have a ID, so I'll get the, from the measure I'll get the table ID, just to remember. Okay, so because measure will also have its own ID and table will also have its own ID. So I'm having a table ID, I get a expression, I do a expression. Okay, close this. Okay, and I also want to get a string format, basically expression format, exp format. Okay, I do this and I close this and I do a string format string, and I close this. Now similarly I can pull in another variable. I do a var underscore table, I bring in the table, and here I do a select columns again and open this up, and within select columns I want to say info.table, tables, and similarly I'll do a table ID. So within the table I have the table ID and the table name. Okay, and similarly come here, I will say give me the table ID. Here I'll put in the table ID, and I'll put in the same name, table. Okay, table, and this is my ID. Okay, and I do a name. I'll get the table name in here, and here I'll do a table name, and I close this and I say name. Okay, now I close this. Now I have two variables. Now I will create a third variable, which is nothing but joining of both of them. I'll say variable combine is equal to, I'll combine by using the natural left outer join, and here with the natural left outer join I'll combine the measures and the table. Okay, and now I'll do a return statement, and return, so what I'll do is from the return, so before return what I can do is I can do a var combine. I can just say return and give me the combined output. So this is what I get. So if you look at this, measure name, table ID, expression, format, and table name. So here what I can also do is, instead of the combine, if I want to rename it, make it better, I can say select columns from this. Okay, and from combine I would say give me the measure name, so I would say measure, and I would give me measure name from this. Then I say DAX formula, comma, and I would say expression. I'll say expression, and I would say here instead of a table name, give me the home table, and this will then give me the table name. And now if I close this and I run this, I get the home table name. Again, this is table. I'll run this again. So this is how you can get in what your measures are. I can copy this, bring this here, and here is the list that I get. So this is one of the ways you can get in your measures. Similarly, the way we did it for columns, this is my table, this is my measures, this is my sorted measures with table, and this is my columns, and this is my that's my table, and this is my column. So in this way I'm able to get the data that is requested, and I can then use this into my reports. This is one of the way. You can also do, if you want to look at relationships, you can also do it, evaluate, and I'd say info dot relationships, and if I do a run, I'm able to get the relationship. Again, with the relationship name that I have, I can further join this and get the more details. So this is one of the ways you can use the info function. There are around 50 of the info functions that you can use, but this is quite helpful for you to kind of evaluate your data and create your data model, document your data model. And this is what how info function works in the DAX query view. So I hope you like this video, and if you really like this, please subscribe to our channel. I'll be putting in more expressions here in the description, so if there's anything, do let me know. And till that time, take care guys. Cheers, and thank you guys for joining in.